So is this better and cheaper than a Staccato? So welcome back to the Muzzle Bro channel, everybody, and today we're going over my custom Springfield Prodigy build. This was a really exciting project for me because this is actually my first 2011. When I kind of started looking into the 2011 market, obviously Staccato, or the true 2011, was kind of the first company that I took a look at. I kind of wanted that full-size duty gun, but I did kind of want it to be super high-speed John Wick vibes. So I looked at the Staccato P, and then I looked at the Staccato XC. And the first thing I did was throw up in my mouth because there's no fucking way I'm spending $4,000 plus on a Staccato XC. That's absolutely insane. So even taking a step down, looking at the Staccato P, the optics ready Staccato P is still $2,500, which is fucking wild. I couldn't stomach a $25 handgun purchase just for essentially a range toy. The Staccato P is pretty fucking big. You're not really going to be concealed carrying it. It's kind of like a nightstand gun, but it's a 2011, so it's like, you know, how often do I have to clean it? Long story long, I guess, but that's kind of what led me to looking into the Springfield Prodigy, which is essentially a cheaper version of the Staccato P. This guy right here is the 4.5-inch version, and I was able to pick this up new on Gunbroker for $1,100. And so, you know, I kind of did some girl math here, and I was like, all right, well, you know, I bought this for $1,100. I was going to spend $25 on the Staccato piece, so I saved $1,400, right? So what can I do to improve this Prodigy and make it essentially better than a Staccato XC? And we're going to go through all of these upgrades in detail, but I'm going to tell you right now, I have shot this side by side, one after another with the Staccato XC, and hand to God, I prefer this weapon system, and a lot of my buddies feel the same way. So we're kind of going to go through and talk about the specific upgrades that we did to this weapon system to be able to achieve performance that's better than a Staccato P, better than a Staccato XC, all for a lesser cost. So one of the most notable upgrades to this weapon system are going to be these ports here. These are the V8 ports by DSC Gunworks that go both through the slide and the barrel of this weapon. The ports on this Prodigy are arguably my favorite upgrade. One, they look absolutely fucking sick, and these things function like straight up flawlessly. I was a little nervous when I sent this gun off to be ported because once it's ported, it's ported. There's no turning back. It's not like a threaded barrel and a muzzle brake that you can take on and off kind of if needed. And to be honest, I was a little bit worried about reliability once the gun was ported. With this 226 build and this ridiculous compensator on the end, I started to run into some reliability issues and I had to start jacking with springs and bullet grains and all that shit. It was a pain in the ass. And I've never had to do this with this gun, even after the ports. If you were to take one upgrade away from this video, it's got to be the V8 ports by DSC Gunworks. It costs $300, but 100% worth it. The ports significantly reduce the muzzle flip. Like, it's an incredible amount. Truly, I've shot this side by side to a Staccato XC. My local gun range, they have an XC there, and you can rent it for like $5. So like, why the hell not do the comparison? I probably should do a video on that. Anyways, I've shot this right side by side with the Staccato XC, and you truly get less muzzle flip with these V8 ports in the Prodigy than the Staccato XC. So DSC Gunworks, hit them up. They do an amazing port service. Moving further back on the slide of this weapon system, I have the HoloSun ACSS optic. So I absolutely love this optics. It's held up great. It's been incredibly reliable, and I love the reticle system on this. Having that chevron in the center surrounded by this circle is absolutely killer. So on the HoloSun ACSS specifically, the chevron, if you zero the tip of that chevron to 25 yards, you can shoot up to 100 yards if you aim at the base of the chevron. I kind of thought it was like a little stupid and gimmicky, and I was like, I don't really know if it's going to work, but it does. I mean, I've been able to hit 100-yard shots like consistently with the chevron with that zeroing system. And then also, as you can kind of see in that reticle, it gives you that big ass circle around the chevron. So for a first-time dot user, it really allows you to very intuitively find the reticle. If you're a little bit off to one side, you see that edge of the circle, you bring it in, there's your dot. I mean, like I said, that was my first pistol red dot, so I kind of wanted it to be idiot proof because I'm a bit of an ape sometimes, but I absolutely love it. That guy runs in at about $300 and was an amazing addition to this weapon system specifically because I just wanted this built for speed. I wanted to put lead on target as quickly as possible, and with that big ass circle around the chevron, it allows me to zero in on my target a little bit faster than a traditional dot. Okay, moving down to the frame, we absolutely have to talk about the trigger job that I had done on this weapon. So I actually got this trigger job done by Vulcan Machine Works. It only cost about $100, and in my opinion, it's absolutely worth it. So originally I was looking at aftermarket triggers and hammers. I kind of wanted to get a red one just to be cool, but after reading some online reviews and actually talking to the dudes at Vulcan Machine Works, they kind of told me that the aftermarket triggers, like the aftermarket 2011 triggers, sometimes work in the Prodigy and sometimes don't, and sometimes they have fitment issues and reliability issues, and they kind of talked me out of it. So I was like, like, all right, boys, like, what can we do with what we got? And they're like, well, dude, we can give you a 2.5 pound trigger job on this gun with the stock Prodigy trigger. And I was like, wait, like, no way, right? So for $100, they gave me a 2.5 pound trigger pull. And this thing it's insane. That's the trigger pull on the XC. The Staccato XC coming in again, like over $4,000, has a 2.5 pound trigger pull. But again, we're kind of able to achieve that same thing with an aftermarket trigger job. So just to kind of show off this trigger. So little bit of take up, you hit that wall, that's like just insane. Trigger breaks. And then the reset is truly incredible on this as well. You barely have to move it. Yeah, that's already it. And then reset. We're gonna do that reset one more time because it's incredibly easy to miss. It's wild. So big shout out to Vulcan Machine Works for the trigger job. $100, absolutely worth it. And you know it's gonna work because it's the stock Prodigy trigger and hammer. Moving down to the ass of the gun here, I did end up putting a Dawson Precision magwell on this weapon, which is the same magwell that Staccato uses. Like literally, this is the magwell on the XC, this is the magwell on the Staccato P, but it's on the Prodigy. For this magwell specifically, I read a lot of things online and a lot of people said that it fits the Prodigy and then a lot of people said it doesn't fit the Prodigy. But I figured just spend the money and I'll make it work, right? So the magwell from Dawson Precision was $100, so that's a little bit of an extra add-on. But for me, it's necessary. I was actually kind of having an issue gripping the Prodigy, and this flared magwell at the base gives the kind of the base of my hand somewhere to rest and grab. So it actually kind of is functional for the grip, as well as obviously your reloads. Now, I will say I did have to shave down this magwell with a metal file to get it to fit on the Prodigy, but you can absolutely get it to fit if you're motivated to do so. I'm probably never gonna take this magwell off. I could, it'd probably be a bitch to do, but I'm leaving it on. I like the way it feels. It adds a little bit of weight down low to help a little bit with some muzzle flip and recoil control, helps with reloads and gives my hand a good position to fit. So this weapon system with all the upgrades today actually runs in at about $1,900. Remember, we got the Prodigy brand new from Gun Broker for $1,100, $300 for the V8 ports, $300 for the optic, $100 trigger job, and $100 magwell. So this setup right here with the optic, with all the upgrades, $1,900. And then you compare that to something like the Staccato P, which this is essentially the Kroger brand of. The Staccato P optics ready version, MSRP's at $2,500. So this is $600 less than a Staccato P with the V8 ports, which the Staccato P does not have, with a 2.5 pound trigger that the Staccato P does not have, with an optic, which the Staccato P does not come with, for $600 less. I'm not going to tell you that Staccato doesn't make a quality product, but for me, and especially here on this channel, we're talking about what value you get for your money. And yeah, I know the Prodigy has those MIM metal injected molded parts, but like, I don't care. It runs flawlessly. I've never had any issues with this. And when you're saving some money on the gun, it really allows you the budget to go through and have like strategic upgrades that actually enhance the performance of the weapon. So I'm absolutely taking this Springfield Prodigy for $1,900 any day of the week over a Staccato P, or to be honest, even a Staccato XC. It truly does just shoot better. Everyone's gonna have their own opinion on which weapon systems to buy and which upgrades you want, but be smart about it, make your own decisions, shoot guns before you buy them, and really try and think of the overall picture of what you're looking for. Just don't get scammed because some dickhead on the internet is like, oh, you gotta buy a Staccato, the Prodigies are shit. Because I'm here to tell you, they're not. They're a quality gun. You can save some money and throw it into some aftermarket upgrades and kick the shit out of all the Staccato dudes at the range. All right, boys, really appreciate you tuning into the channel. Please hit me with subscribe. I would really appreciate it. If there's ever anything you want to hear me chat about, drop a comment down below. We'll do the video.